Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
I appreciate it. Love you too, man.
Yeah.
How do you know I'm not a gangster? Or used to be a gangster? I've been
I mean,
in the
were you?
music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry's filled with gangsters.
For years, we have seen them as the perfect pair, Jay-Z and Beyoncé, the royal family of modern music. Every public appearance has been a masterclass in control, matching outfits at the Met Gala, diamond-lit smiles at the Grammys, private jets touching down in Cannes. But behind the flawless choreography, the same question keeps resurfacing in the darker corners of the industry. What if the most famous marriage in music was never real? What if everything, the songs, the tours, even the children, was built to hide something far more complicated than anyone imagined?
Feel initially when Beyoncé started dating Jay-Z, who is very successful, but he's also, generally considered a gangster rapper.
We've been told for 2 decades that Jay-Z and Beyoncé are a love story of power and resilience, but insiders have long whispered another version. According to multiple people who've worked close to the couple, their relationship has always functioned more like a business alliance than a romance. Jay's image, once rooted in hard-edged masculinity, began to shift overnight when he linked himself to a young Beyoncé in the early 2000s. Before that, his lyrics were filled with hyper-macho bravado and dismissive lines about intimacy. Then suddenly came the polished suits, the art galleries, and the philanthropic smile. The timing was too clean for some observers to ignore, especially as quiet rumors about his private life refused to fade. Within certain executive circles, Jay's personal orientation was described as an open secret, a topic never printed but constantly discussed behind closed doors.
Jay-Z and Beyoncé being, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put it into perspective of the type of company I was in.
Right.
By the time Beyoncé released Crazy in Love in 2003, the narrative was sealed. Hip-hop's bad boy turned family man, and the shy Texan singer transformed into global royalty. But that same year, something else happened. Diddy entered the picture not as a rival, but as a collaborator. When Beyoncé recorded Summertime with Diddy in 2003, insiders said the chemistry between them was unmistakable. Some crew members allegedly noticed how their energy on set blurred the line between creative connection and personal tension. From that moment on, those close to the 3 stars began to describe an unspoken triangle. Jay-Z, the businessman holding the image together, Beyoncé, the face of perfection, and Diddy, the man moving quietly in the background. The friendship between Jay-Z and Diddy dated back to the 990s, long before Beyoncé's rise. They had both lost their friend, Notorious B.I.G. in 1997, and bonded through grief, fame, and scandal. By 1999, they were both facing legal trouble. Jay for the infamous nightclub stabbing of music executive Lance Rivera, and Diddy for fleeing a shooting near Times Square. Each received probation. Sources who were around at the time say those shared experiences created a pact between them, one that extended beyond friendship. And when Beyoncé arrived, that pact allegedly deepened.
There is a partial verdict in the Diddy case after 2 days. The jury has reached unanimous decisions on 4 of the 5 counts. The problem is that 5th count means that we don't get to find out what the verdicts are on the other 4 because they are hung up on racketeering.
In 2000, the year of the MTV Video Music Awards, the first major crack in their story appeared. A young woman, identified in legal filings as Jane Doe, would later claim that she was assaulted at an after-party involving both men. Diddy and Jay-Z denied every part of the story, calling it a blackmail attempt. But the accusation never completely vanished. When the lawsuit resurfaced in late 2024, decades later, it reignited speculation about why Jay-Z would risk his spotless reputation to publicly defend Diddy. For some observers, his insistence on loyalty pointed to something larger, a shared secret that could destroy more than one empire if ever confirmed.
Tick-tock, tick-tock, the clock is ticking on Diddy because on Friday he finds out what his sentence is going to be, but today he found out what prosecutors would like that sentence to be, and it is vastly different from what his attorneys have suggested to the judge. Prosecutors want him to do 11 years, just over 11 years.
By then, Diddy's own legal chaos had reached a boiling point. Federal agents raided his homes in New York, Los Angeles, and Miami in March 2024. In September, he was arrested on charges connected to coercive behavior, transportation for immoral purposes, and racketeering. His trial is set for May 2025, but the fallout has already fractured alliances across the industry. Jay-Z, usually quick to align himself with moral causes, has stayed silent. 50 Cent mocked him online for going into hibernation, pointing out that even the annual Roc Nation brunch, usually a symbol of Jay's dominance, was quietly canceled. The silence was deafening, and for many it confirmed what insiders had long believed, that Jay-Z's connection to Diddy runs deeper than friendship. Behind all of this, Terrence Dean's memoir, released in 2024, painted a broader backdrop, a world where some of the biggest names in hip-hop lived double lives. Dean described a thriving but hidden rainbow subculture within an industry built on hyper-masculine imagery. He avoided naming names, but his descriptions were detailed enough to ignite speculation. He wrote of executives who weaponized homophobia to protect reputations, and of artists whose public personas were elaborate camouflage. It wasn't lost on anyone that Jay-Z's evolution from street hustler to art-collecting mogul mirrored the kind of reinvention Dean hinted at.
I think sometimes Meek falls victim to, I have to explain myself because they be playing with my name.
Yeah.
And the more he responds, the more they...
When Bobby Shmurda gave his interview in 2024 accusing Roc Nation of planting rumors about Meek Mill and Diddy, he added another strange piece to the puzzle. Shmurda suggested that Jay-Z's company routinely uses private relationships as tools of control, spreading or suppressing gossip depending on loyalty. According to him, artists who leave Roc Nation become targets of carefully designed online narratives. It was a wild claim, but it landed differently once Jay-Z's name appeared in the same lawsuit as Diddy's. If his marriage to Beyoncé was meant to shield him, then perhaps that shield was cracking. Diddy's long friendship with Beyoncé complicates everything further. He was there at her milestone moments, the opening of the 40 and 40 Club, the Roc Nation brunches, and even her 2016 VMA afterparty. Photographs from those years show him standing close, sometimes too close, the chemistry visible even in still images. Former staffers from that period claimed their professional boundaries blurred, and that Beyoncé often traveled under unusual discretion when visiting Diddy-hosted events. Insiders allege those meetings weren't purely social. Some whisper that her children's resemblance to Diddy's features isn't coincidence, a claim impossible to verify but persistent enough to haunt comment sections and gossip boards.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever.
As Diddy's legal troubles mounted, Beyoncé's camp maintained silence, equal to Jay-Z's. But when gossip commentator Jason Lee revealed in 2024 that both Beyoncé and Jay-Z had allegedly contacted him over Diddy allegations, speculation intensified. Lee said the calls came through intermediaries who urged him not to fan the flames. It was an odd move for a couple who normally rise above controversy. If they had nothing to hide, why intervene at all? Meanwhile, Piers Morgan publicly apologized to them for airing unverified claims made by Jaguar Wright, linking the couple to Diddy's trafficking case. Morgan said their lawyers described Wright's statements as totally false, yet even that legal precision couldn't erase the sense that something bigger was being protected. In the months since Diddy's conviction on transportation charges, courtroom observers noticed how carefully Jay-Z has avoided being photographed near anyone tied to the case. At the same time, Beyoncé's public image has shifted toward motherhood and philanthropy, as if she too is distancing from old associations. But industry veterans remember her early bond with Diddy and the powerful effect he had on her confidence as a solo artist. One former producer told us that after working with Diddy, she moved differently, more assertive, more secretive, more like him. That transformation, once hailed as empowerment, now looks different under the light of his scandals.
Do I think, yeah. There's every man possibly is capable. I think he's very capable of doing it. It's in his character. That's who he is. That's what comes with power. That's what comes with arrogance. That's what comes with, what makes him, power. That's just the selfishness to make you be like that.
Inside this maze of image and loyalty, the silence of one man stands out. Jay-Z, who built an empire on confession-style storytelling, has refused to address the lawsuit that links his name to Diddy's crimes. He has issued only one brief statement dismissing the case as extortion, but legal analysts note that denial doesn't always equal distance. His refusal to condemn Diddy publicly has been read by some insiders as protection, either of an old friend or of himself. And if the marriage to Beyoncé was conceived as a smokescreen, Diddy would have been the perfect accomplice. We can trace their timeline from the 1997 collaborations to the 2020 Black Billionaire brunch, where Diddy toasted to unity while Jay-Z nodded beside him. That image, two men, arms crossed, smiling for the cameras, now feels almost theatrical. Behind those smiles, there may have been layers of leverage and secrets that money could no longer contain. As Diddy sits in a New York facility awaiting trial, questions linger about how far Jay-Z's loyalty really extends, and what Beyoncé knew all along. Jay-Z's brand depends on credibility and family values, Beyoncé's on integrity and control. A single leak could collapse both. Their shared secrecy becomes the final unbreakable bond. Now, as Diddy serves his sentence, his empire is fractured but still dangerous. People close to him say he's writing, taking notes, naming names. Prosecutors want cooperation, journalists want access. The only question is who he'll protect and who he'll take down with him. Because if Diddy has evidence linking Jay-Z to those hidden tapes, or proof that Beyoncé's family's story isn't what it seems, then the fall won't stop at Bad Boy Records. It could consume Roc Nation, Parkwood, and the entire Carter dynasty. In the end, we're left with the pattern too deliberate to dismiss: the friendship, the silence, the synchronized philanthropy, even the timing of their public appearances. All point towards something engineered to survive scrutiny. Jay-Z didn't stay quiet because he's loyal to Diddy. He stayed quiet because Diddy owns him. And when the truth comes out, it won't just destroy Diddy, it'll destroy the Carters too. What do we think really ties these three together? Love, loyalty, or leverage? Could one confession from behind bars be enough to bring down music's most powerful family? Let us know what you believe, because this story is far from over. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your mind sharper than the headlines.